weekly update and on my way to work um, telecast. I'm actually liking this because this actually is very helpful in the realm of being able to keep y'all together weekly. So um, I wonder how you liked the. I'm wondering how you liked the the telecast that I did on what you call them. Oh Lord, Fat Joe and the dedication to Fat Joe and Ja Rule on their podcast. So I'll look at it. I haven't looked at it lately. So I was planning on only going. I was planning on going live like October 2nd. Okay. Instead of doing 11 o'clock, I'm gonna start doing them at midnight. So to get back to what I was saying, trying to turn in here in traffic and everything. So tonight I will be going live. I was going to wait until October 2nd, try to space them apart because I still want to continue. Like I said, me going on Station Head and doing live broadcasts are going to be an extension of Eclectic Music Geek podcast. So it's not replacing it. I'm still with Anchor. I'm still going to be doing podcasts through Anchor. And I'm still going to be doing music podcasts through Anchor. So tonight at midnight I will be going live, and I will be going live because we this week we lost a legend, we lost an icon, Sarah Dash. Many of you, if you grew up black or if you grew up and you're a Patti LaBelle fan, if you're a true blue Patti LaBelle fan, then you know who Sarah Dash is. You know who Sarah Dash is. She was one of she was part of Patti LaBelle and the Bluebells. She was also part of the group LaBelle in the 70s when Patti LaBelle transitioned from Patti LaBelle and the Bluebells and wound up being LaBelle. One of their most famous songs that you remember is Lady Marmalade. Okay, and so you know, Bully Boo Boo Shay, you heard the song before. So if you grew up in the 70s and you're a Patti LaBelle fan, then more than likely you've heard of Sarah Dash as well. So she passed away this week, so I will be dedicating a broadcast to her. Um, she, Patti LaBelle, and another young lady named, and I say young lady named Nona Hendrix were part of LaBelle. Um, Now, the Bluebells, and my mother was talking to me about the Bluebells. So the Bluebells were a very famous girl group back in the 60s. They were around the same time as the Supremes. So they were, and if you ever pay attention to Patti LaBelle's Unsung, I think she had an Unsung that she did. She talked about one of the one of the bluebells eventually wound up being a supreme, and that was Cindy Birdsong. So Cindy Birdsong was a part of the Bluebells. So they were a pretty popular group, and then like I said, as we got into the 70s, they morphed into LaBelle. And so, and she also had talking about Sarah Dash. She also had a pretty decent solo career as well. So I will be dedicating tonight's broadcast to her because, I like to celebrate the life, for the person and everything. We also lost Melvin Van Peebles, a film director. So for many of y'all, you know that his most famous work was Sweetback, badass song. I was looking for it somewhere so that I could watch it and couldn't find it. So if I could find anything musically on Melvin Van Peebles, I may just go ahead and go into his life. Many of you may have heard of his son, Mario Van Peebles. So Mario Van Peebles is kind of famous for what is that movie? New Jack City. So he was New Jack City. He also had a Western movie out. I think him and his dad might have worked on it together. So I'll be able to give you more information. He's best known for Sweetback's badass song, but he also made quite a few other movies. He was a popular director in the 70s blaxploitation period. So tonight I will be talking about both of them. It'll be mostly Sarah Dash, but I'm also going to talk. I'm also so tonight's broadcast will be dedicated to them both. Anyway, I was listening to one of my favorite YouTubers. Her name is Cynthia G. So I clicked on, and there was this white woman, I guess, on social media. I never understand why women, period, of any color. Like, it's funny how women will sit here and go, what I do with my pussy is my business, and this, that, and the other, and blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, oh, cool, but you're right. It's yours, it's a part of your body. But she was making the point because the woman went online to rate her 3 black baby daddies. I'm like, and it's funny to me how you will have so many black men. If this woman would have been black, we would have had to hear how she needed to choose better. We would have had to hear all manner of negativity about her. She went online to rate her black baby daddies. Now, you may say that sound kind of ghetto, and it is. She played parts of the tape. What I really want to talk about is people who keep hollering, "Love has no color." If I hear one more perfect person say that to me about a situation that really isn't love, okay? Now, Cynthia G herself said on her channel, that she is not real. She will not be swirling personally. I have never swirled. I've been invited to swirl. But it hasn't happened. And it hasn't happened for the same reason that it hasn't happened for me and a lot of black men. Okay, their character ain't on point. I'm one of those people, ever since my daughter came into the world, and I'm not judging, my children have different fathers, and I've been very open about that. Okay, I don't have no shame in my game. I know the details of why me and their fathers are not together. I know the reasons why those situations didn't work out. So that's why I don't let nobody, shame me when it comes to that whole thing. And I don't think any woman should allow herself. That's your past. You're in Christ now and you're forgiven. Okay, so many people, even in churches, they want to bring it up because they want to be able to make you feel guilty, make you feel less than, make you feel marked down so that they can use you for sex. They're not a right kind of guy. They really, y'all listen to me when I talked about Satan, lies. Satan tells women, lies that Satan tells women, about themselves. And many times Satan will use the lips of men to say these lies. Okay? And tell you things about yourself. And so she has a whole, thing, about a half hour where she talks about this woman. But I want to talk about interracial dating, period. Okay? And there are like two to three types of people, and we're talking about black community because, as you can see, I'm black. That ain't changing, and I don't want it to change. I like myself the way that I am. I'm comfortable in my own skin. So, I want to talk about black people who swirl. Um, Now, I would say maybe two to three groups. Number one, and I always like to start with the pure first. They were looking for love, and the person that they fell in love with was of a different ethnicity. That's really, to me, the only reason to swirl. Okay? If you're not in it for the right reasons, you are going to have problems. And people don't understand. People try to make this magnificent thing out of swirling. Swirlers divorce at even higher rates than the general population. Okay? Because it's very stressful to swirl. It definitely is. And if the person that you're with isn't in it for the right reason, you're gonna have problems. You already marriage, period. People don't understand. Marriage is a lot of work. Okay, so you want to do that work with the right person. If they ain't got the right spirit, so I'm tired of some of these people who keep trying to act like black women swirling is the answer to black women not being married. Like I said before, maybe they're not married because they feel like they're not meeting any marriageable black men. And let's face it, one of the things I'm tired of within the within the white community anyway is the people who, well, I can't cut it with other white people, so let me run over here to black people. Okay, and let me say I don't want to say there's nothing wrong with that, but in a way there kind of is something wrong with that because I don't want nobody, like, I know the difference between a white person that I find attractive and a white person that I don't find attractive. So yeah, there is kind of something wrong with that attitude. Like, well, in other words, if you could get a better white person than you're getting, then we wouldn't have a chance with you. I don't, that's not pure motives for me. I don't really want nobody in my face on that type of stuff. But let me talk about, like I said, black people who swirl. So you have some black people who are under the delusion that they're getting a better product because the person isn't black. Okay? Or they're getting a better product because the person is white. Okay? Because there's all kinds of ways to swirl. With swirling, for me, since we're talking about black people who swirl, we're talking about, you could be swirling with anybody. Do you see what I'm saying? Because we're talking about people that are non-black. If you marry a Latin, you're still swirling. You're swirling Latin. Okay, you're swirling Asian. You may be swirling Asian. You may be swirling with a person of Middle Eastern descent or Native American. Like, you could be swirling with anybody. It's not just white people. But the problem that I have is with the black people who think that they're getting a better product because they decide to go the way of the swirl. And then when you say anything that is, well, love has no color. Well, if you were doing it for love, and like I said, I've had white guys. People act like because I've never dated any white guys that I've never had a chance to, and that's not true. I've had plenty of chances to. Okay, I'm not an ugly woman. I'm not, I haven't hit every branch on the ugly tree on my way down. So I've had plenty of opportunities to date. I've had plenty of opportunities to date biracial people that are the product of a swirl. Okay, so I've had plenty of opportunities to date people that were not my ethnicity or were about halfway out. Okay, so and to me, like, I pay attention to character above all else. I do see color. I would never insult nobody's like, really, dude, do you have to be that close on my behind? I do not understand people who tailgate. I really don't. Why do you need to be that close? You're like the person at the store. You're like the person at the store when you're trying to get something that don't want to move. Like, Why do you need to be that close? And lucky for you, only on the freeway, because if I had to stop, it would be curtains for you. Anyway, the new job that I have, I'm working for State Safe Light. I'm sure wherever you are, you've heard the Safe Light commercial or jingle or whatever. So the division that I'm in, we handle a lot of glass damage claims, and we set up appointments for them, preferably in a safe light. But we will We will work with them to set up appointments with other people who do glass repair as well. And so, ever since I have had this job, I have a crack. I have a little nick in my windshield, and I was telling the Queen Mother, I said, ever since I have had this job, I have become increasingly paranoid about riding behind trucks that look like they got a whole bunch of stuff on them, like whatever. Because the majority of calls that we get are windshields, and they have to do with glass damage to your windshield, and it keeps being a rock or a pebble off the road. And what people don't understand, those little suckers can be deadly to your. Now, really, you can't do nothing about it. Live your life. But I just felt something like glance off my windshield. And so ever since I've had this job, it's like all I got to do is hear anything hit my windshield, and I'm like paranoid, because there's so many people that call us on a regular basis, and you can't really once it's airborne, whatever it is, you don't even have you don't even have the ability to control how it impacts your windshield. So I hear everything from somebody getting a nick to somebody, like, whatever it is, it cracked it. So be careful out here in these streets. Anyway, back to the whole squirrel conversation. I keep hearing people, and I just left a cult. I'm just gonna call it what it is. And one of the things people don't understand, cults love squirreling. Okay, cults love interracial marriages. They really do. They can get you together with somebody of a different color. They love it. Okay, they love they love they love interracial marriages. They love forced marriages. They love arranged marriages. Anything where you don't have no control over what you and that other person is doing. So I talked about this before. Now, they love interracial marriages not because they feel like love has no color, and our Lord Jesus Christ, you know, um, wants us to overlook we wants us to focus on the content of the other person's character. Ooh, kumbaya, and the rat tat tat and whatever. Okay. No, that's not why they like them. They like them because it's good for their um, image. Because you get a chance to look all. Because let's face it, our churches, still we're not as segregated as we may have been in the past, but we largely are still segregated. Do you see what I'm saying? And so cults love trying to present themselves off as a melting pot. If you ever decide you want to do a little bit of unofficial research, Jim Jones, the guy who's famous for, the mass forced suicide with the Guyana cult, who forced them to drink cyanide laced Kool-Aid. He pushed very heavily for a interracial, a racially diverse, you know, congregation. He even adopted a black son. Okay, yeah, he has a black son. The young boy is grown now. I think he's probably in his 40s, maybe 50. So, and I found quotes on the internet where Angela Davis is rumored to have said, something good to him, regarding, the attacks he was getting, because he was a very prominent figure in the civil rights era. Um, before all of this other dirt came out about him. So just because somebody is rich in good works and is good at color, I believe love has no color, but most of what I'm saying has to be careful. Like, do I believe with all the racial politicking behind a lot of these situations? As long as white is a power color in this community, in this country, you still, as a person of color, have to wonder where you really stand with anybody that is inviting you to swirl. Do they have right motives? Um, I I often talk about this book. The author is named Gwendolyn Goldsby Graham, and Gwendolyn Goldsby Graham, she's no longer with us, but she used to have a column with Essence Magazine where people would write in for her advice. And she, after a while, she made the show circuit and everything. And she's a renowned psychologist, a renowned black female psychologist, and she wrote a book called The Best Kind of Loving. And in it, she talks about interracial marriage because, the book is primarily aimed at black women, but I'm sure quite a few white women have, but a lot of white women have read it as well. Number one, a lot of white women are married to men of color, married to black men. So, and, the advice kind of some advice transcends racial ethnicity because it can apply to any situation. I've always felt good about the fact that I have a racially diverse um, audience, that would listen to me, and I'm not apologizing to it. Anybody's welcome to listen to me. Anybody's welcome to subscribe to my channel. Anybody's welcome to follow my blog. Anybody. Now, many of the issues that I talk about are, pro-black issues, and I don't have, from a Christian standpoint, mostly pro-feminist from a Christian standpoint. So anybody is welcome to listen. I don't have no issues with that, but you can't take it over or anything like that. I'm black. I'm staying black. I'm gonna always be black, and I know this sounds like, well, we can see that by looking at you. Well, I'm saying that because if an issue affects the black community, born again or not, it's going to be something that really, really touches my heart. If it's something that affects women, it's going to be something that really, really touches my heart. That's why I keep saying I stand with the women of Afghanistan as a woman of color and as a woman, period, because the women are going through. Like I said, that now after they took the U.S. the military out of there, ISIS and different other organizations that are very, very misogynist, very, very dangerous, very, very abusive of women are trying to take over and take away the rights that many of the Afghan women have fought to have. And, and you know, and it's coming with forced marriages, different other stuff like that. Now, one of the reasons why I didn't support Trump as president is because they worry about their own stuff and blah, 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 blah. Well, whether you know it or not, there are people in this country that if they could yank every right that you have as a woman, they would yank it. We're not just talking about abortion rights and this, that, and the other. We're talking about your right. Probably, um, it's been almost it's been almost 10 years, and I'm still being harassed by them people. They are still people up to calling the judge because we're talking about cause happy anyway. Okay, people when I was two sent people and get me fired, and I know this because one of them said to my face, "They won't keep you if you get too many complaints." So I got threatened, and the next thing I know, I'm getting complaints, and they were stupid complaints like and the boss that I had was like, I don't understand it. In all the years you've been with us, you have never had these many complaints. And all because I didn't want to marry some guy that they had picked out for me to marry. So the struggle is real. You know, people keep talking about karma, which I don't let nobody come to me with that because I'm not a Hindu. But I do believe in sowing and reaping. So you can say, well, that don't have nothing to do with us, and blah, 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 blah. Girl, you don't know how close you might have been to being, you don't know how close you may have been to being trafficked. And just because a pastor mentions marriage does not mean that it's not human trafficking. In fact, human trafficking involves forced marriage. It involves women and girls being sold into marriage. And the most discouraging thing to me about the conversation is everybody wants to focus. See, the devil is very real. Everybody wants to focus on underage girls when there are plenty of grown of age women, and I myself was almost one of them that are trying to that they're victimizing as well. So I am here at work or close to work. Let me see here. I'm about maybe a hop, skip, and a jump from work. So tonight I will be going live. I will be going live. I won't be going live from this platform. I will be doing a live broadcast, and I will be dedicating it to Sarah Dash, and I also will be dedicating it to Melvin Van Peebles. So, also, what else was I going to say? At many of my platforms now are becoming monetized and everything. Now, this is not a bid for your money, but like this is coming from HAPS, so I am allowed to take donations if you feel led to donate. I also am receiving donations on the Station Head platform as well as now on YouTube. On YouTube and Anchor, my podcasts is are not necessarily dependent on donations unless you just want to donate. Most of me is like I've said before and I promised before, and I've been keeping that promise. Um, I'm looking more actively for ways to monetize my content that don't involve me having to sell memberships or make people, subscribe for a particular amount. I like to keep it so that you can listen to me, and you know, my content on Anchor is monetized through ads. So that's already cool. I'm still looking into that. I'm trying to get my subscribership up with YouTube so that I can be monetized through them, which would also be through ads. So if you follow me on YouTube, My membership is going, my subscribership is going up, which I'm happy about. I also, what was the other thing I wanted to say? Oh, so since I am back with iPhone, I now have the ability to go do live, do live broadcasts on there. Now there are three places you can listen to me. The Station Head app is now available on iPhone. It is available on Android. Unfortunately, because when I had my little Android phone there for a minute, um, one of the things I noticed is I can't broadcast live. Like, you can listen to me on there. So if you download the Station Head app on Android or iPhone, you can listen to me on there. My name is Adams Rib 66. You can follow me on there. You can also now follow me and listen to me on the web, on your laptop, on your tabletop computer. You would have to go Station Head. Let me see, stationhead.live and then slash Adams Rib 66. And so if you're listening, if you want to listen to me from your laptop and hear my broadcast, I don't have, like, you can listen to me. I don't have the ability to broadcast live on my computer, so I still have to do it through my iPhone. Anyway, I am at work now and I'm about to go in so I can do my little job, do the job that pays the bills, that finances everything else that I'm doing. So I will see you guys tonight at midnight. I love you all. Mwah. And I will see you later. Bye bye.